Hi, my name is Shujin Wang, and I'm here to introduce my project on a portal for beekeeping data management named Be Your Reporter, which is simply a web application where beekeepers can just upload their yearly reports of their bee farms. So previously, I have a project on the Atlas of US honey industry, which is an interactive storytelling website that you can go to this link and view it. It contains several interactive maps that covers the topics of bee colonies, honey production and yield, colony health stressors, honey price and trade. It shows both the spatial pattern and the temporal trend, and there is a lot of information. The data are provided by reports from the Department of Agriculture, and I'm not sure how they collect data from each single beekeeper in the country. So I'm here creating a web application that allows the beekeepers to submit a report to summarize their beekeeping business in a year, which includes how many bee colonies they have, where they are, the amount of honey they produced, the number of colonies they lost in each season, and the major health stressors they have. This information will be read into a database and will be showed on a map. So all users can query to see the spatial distribution of beekeepers across the country in different years and view the reports submitted by each beekeeper. They can also filter them by a couple of conditions. For the professionals in the industry, it potentially provides a simple solution for beekeeping data collection and enable data visualization at the same time. It even allows to perform quick data analysis. But for beekeepers, they can just record and track their data and be a reporter themselves. So first step to start this project was to design and create a database for beekeeping data. This is the structure of the database. We have two tables, one to collect user information and another to collect reports from the user. The user table includes the beekeeper's name and contact information. It assigns a unique ID to each user. The report table records the basic information such as the year of the report, the location, and the number of colonies, the report submission time, as well as the additional message or comment from the beekeeper. It also contains the total production of the year, how many colonies were lost during each quarter of year. So here I named them by 1, 2, 3, 4, but they represent January to March, April to June, etc. And the top 3 health stressors they suffered from, which I limit them to 6 options. These data are collected directly from the user inputs. And from the inputs, the system automatically calculates some values and add them to the database. This includes the yield by dividing production by the number of colonies, and the percent of colony loss by dividing the number of colony lost by the total number of colony. So this is actually an estimation because beekeepers will add new colonies after they lost some, but I assume they hope to maintain their original amounts. So those two tables are linked together by the user ID because each report will have a report ID and a user ID that indicate who created the record. The whole database was built in PostgreSQL. I'm going to give a demo on how I build the web application. So first I add content into the index, the Java server page. It's more like an HTML file for the website that created elements such as panel and map space. Then I have a Java file to connect the application to the database, and it includes functions to modify and query the database when you have a SQL statement. Next, I have a servlet that provides client-server interactions. It collects requests from the web page and provides response by putting user inputs into a SQL statement. And finally, I have two JavaScript files, one to load the map and create markers and information windows for the data records, and another to submit forms to request when the user clicks the button. So now I'll show you how the web application works. First, you can see all data in the database are here on the map. We can click to see details. We will notice that the markers are different in color because a darker orange represents more colonies in the beekeeper have. And in definition, having greater than 300 colonies is a commercial beekeeper, and between 25 and 300 is a part-time beekeeper, and below 25 is a hobbyist. So now I'm a beekeeper and I'm going to submit my report for last year. So first name, last name. And I can leave this blank because I don't want the website to contact me. And I have a farm at 1 Salina Trails in Kansas. I'll select last year. I'm a hobbyist and I only have 22 colonies, and the total production is 400 pounds. I lost more during winter and less during summer. My colonies suffered from some pests, and I don't know. I'll just submit it, and it's here on the map. So now I'm a professional or who's just interested, and I want to know who in 2018 was a commercial beekeeper that produced less than 30,000 pounds of honey. And I got this one. Also, I want to know who in 2019 lost more than 30% of colonies during January to March and were suffered from both pests and unknown reason. And the order of those two doesn't matter. And I got this, and that's me. Yep. So in the future, this web application will be improved in some ways, like we can allow users to drop a marker on the map by clicking instead of entering an address. Also, I think it would be better to add space for the state, like the state name, because now the location is stored as coordinates in the database, and we don't know which state it's in. So if we have a state information, it will be easy to perform statistics for each state. The second is to improve the user interface and experience by, for example, adding a user instruction at the beginning or just inside the panel. And also in the query panel, we can use range sliders instead of typing numbers into the boxes. So the very advanced way to improve it will be making a new structure that users can indicate their bee farm only once and add report to it every year instead of creating different reports at the same location. Or the website can create account and profile for users and make it to be like a data management system. So there are still lots of potentials.